So, good afternoon, people. I hope you all are having a blessed day today. Just kind of wanting to pop in and give y'all an update on what's going on with the Diddy trial. I'm also wearing my free Diddy shirt today. I made my niece was supposed to make me a better one, but since she didn't make me one, I made me one. A free Diddy trial. Y'all can't really my free Diddy shirt. Y'all really can't tell. So anyway, let's get down to some serious analysis. They said they're having a hard time locating this so-called victim number 3. The prosecutors can't locate her to testify, even though this woman, this so-called victim, has been subpoenaed to testify in the trial. So they have a total of 3 victims, and Cassie is one of them. As a matter of fact, she is the main witness. But now they can't locate this victim number 3. So they're speculating on TMZ. Of course, they want TMZ want to see Diddy fry. They want to see Diddy rot in prison because that just gives them more content to write about or whatever. But they can't find the prosecutor. She's not cooperating. She can't be found. Probably out of town or out of the country somewhere. And the reason being probably is because, in my opinion, they're thinking that TMZ said, oh, well, maybe she's got cold feet, or maybe she don't want to hurt her career if she's in the music industry, or maybe, she just wants to move on with her life, and there's really no proof that Diddy tampered with her as far as witness tampering. No, Diddy ain't tampered with no witness because they are watching him like a hawk. He has not tampered with this so-called victim in no way because they are monitoring his phone calls. They're monitoring Diddy's every move. So that's not the case. What the case could be is that she's not cooperating because she knows she's lying. And she's probably heard that Diddy has compiled a dream team of attorneys, which he should have done, and I don't blame him. I don't care if it costs him $50 million. He should have him a dream team like OJ did. And OJ's case was far more serious than Diddy's, but Diddy has way more to lose than OJ did. So, yes, I would have spared no expense in spending retaining lawyers for my defense in Diddy's case. But this victim, so-called victim number 3, we don't know who she is because they've kept her name anonymous. But they can't seem to locate this person, this individual. And I'm thinking it's because she either knows she's lying and she's scared she's going to get ripped to shreds under cross-examination, or I don't think she's been paid off. No, I don't think so, because had she been paid off, she wouldn't have went this far up to trial to offer herself up as a witness for the prosecution. So she hasn't been paid off. She has not been tampered with because they're watching Diddy too closely for him to tamper with any witnesses that are set to testify at this trial. That they got there's too many eyes on him right now for him to do that. My thing is that she does not want her identity to be known, and she does not want her credibility and her lifestyle and her background to be called to the carpet. That's what I think it is. I just think that this woman is probably got cold feet. I mean, if they locate her, fine, but if they don't, that's even better for Diddy. But yeah, those are my hypotheses, is that she is scared to be exposed, or she knows she's lying and she was never a victim. Those are my 2 theories of why they're probably having a hard time finding this witness for the prosecution. This is one of the main witnesses now, victim number 3, so-called victim number 3. They can't find her. So, yeah. And I still say it's impossible for Diddy to get a fair and impartial jury. It's almost impossible for him to do that. And it's almost impossible to get him a fair trial with the leaking of that video with Cassie. Because everybody has seen that video. Everybody has their own. They formed an opinion either way. And that that video was very prejudicial to the case, even though the events surrounding what led up to that fight, that beating in that elevator, it wasn't a fight, that was a beating. He did beat her. That's not. I'm not condoning that in no way. We need to understand what were the circumstances that led up to that beating. What happened before and after it, and what was that the full tape that showed, everything, the circumstances that led up to that situation. So anyway, that tape is going to be very highly prejudicial to Diddy, the defendant, in this trial. Yeah, and I want to see who the other witnesses that are going to be called up, and I hope those lawyers, Diddy's, are on their A game, and they make them every accusation. I hope they make them prove everything that they're claiming, and that they really were not consenting adults attending a drug-fueled orgy or orgies or freak-offs or whatever you want to call them. So, what else is going on, y'all? Oh, India and Pakistan are pretty much at war. India struck Pakistan. They're pretty much at war. Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before Israel strikes back at Iran for that, and the Houthis for that strike at the airport in Tel Aviv, or is it in Jerusalem? The Ben Gurion airport, the main airport in Israel, they struck. So it's only a matter of time before Israel retaliates for that. What else? Oh yeah, that man that killed that sheriff's deputy, Hinton. I think his name was Hinton, Ryan Hinton Jr. or something. The black father who he just lost it and killed. That's in Ohio. They killed the 18-year-old son because he stole a Kia, and they caught up with the police caught up with him, the son, and his friends when they stole a Kia, and they chased him down all of about 6 minutes or 6 seconds or something. It was a very quick chase. They claimed that the son had a gun. Now the body cam does not show that boy pointing no gun. They show those boys running from the police after they jumped out of the stolen car. But of course the Cincinnati police lied and said that they had guns, and that justified them killing those boys. But that video does not show that those boys were pointing no guns at those officers. It shows them chasing those boys down and shooting them because they stole a Kia. So that father, the 38-year-old father, Hinton Sr., saw the video. And when he saw what we saw, he saw that those boys, they were not justified in killing that young man. And so that father snapped, because he's just like, you know what, I'm sick of this. They're going to get away with killing my son because they're going to lie and say my son pointed a gun at them. And he saw the videotape of them killing his child, well, his 18-year-old son. And that boy did not point no gun at those police officers. But of course, they're going to get away with killing him. So the father, I think he just lost it. He snapped and he said, you know what, I'm going to take one of y'all out. So he went and he ran over a sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic the next day. And so they're probably, and y'all should see the court, that man in that court during his hearings, his arraignments and stuff. That father was looking at every last one of them police officers that surrounded him and mugging him. That father was looking at them like, what? Yes, I did it. And what? What else? What y'all gonna do? What? And I did it. He's very defiant. He has no remorse because they killed his 18-year-old son just for stealing a car. So I'm not saying he was right, but I think I can understand the psychology of that father when he watched that video and saw that his son did not point no gun at those cops. So they're probably going to give this man the death penalty. If Ohio, in fact, has the death penalty, they're going to give the father the death penalty more than likely for killing a police officer. And it was premeditated because it was an act of revenge because they killed his son. So we'll see. We're going to keep up with that case, but it's a very sad case. Another case of a black man gunned down by police, and this time his father took revenge in his own hands. So yeah, two wrongs never make a right, but then sometimes you have to understand the reaction. It was a reaction that the father had. It was a psychological thing. And if I was the father's defense, I would play up to that and just plead insanity, or because the man snapped. When he saw the video of them killing his son, that man snapped. And he said, since y'all took mine, I'm going to take one of y'all out. And the way he's standing up there looking at them cops, that man completely lost it. He went for broke. He said, I ain't got nothing else to lose. Y'all done took everything. Y'all done took my son. So the father felt like he didn't have nothing to lose. So I'm not condoning it, but you have to understand the mentality of that man when he saw his son being gunned down by those cops. And those cops lied and said that boy pointed a gun at him. And he did not. That video, that body cam shows that boy did not point no gun at those cops. That boy was running. He stole a car, and him and his friends jumped out and ran. They chased him down, and them cops knew. All they had to do was say, "Oh, he's got a gun," and he justified shooting those young men, and that's what they did. So watch the tape, y'all. I'm gonna see if might put the tape up there, but that boy did. It's just another case of police killing a young black man, and the boy was in the wrong because they stole a car, but still that didn't justify them chasing them boys down and killing that young man, not for no car. So yeah, we'll see, but they're going to make an example out of the father. We know they are. If Ohio has a death penalty, they're more than likely going to put him to death because they charge him with aggravated murder. But look at Luigi. Luigi is Luigi he stalked his victim and shot him in broad daylight, premeditated, is all outdoors. But Luigi done raised $1 million defense, and they're talking about giving him the death penalty, the feds are, but there's no way that jury is going to convict Luigi. I guarantee you that he is going to get off by jury nullification. But we know Luigi is guilty as all get out. But that's two Americas, two justice systems, y'all. So be blessed. I'm going to get out. I got to go to the gas station, and I got a couple of things I need to do. But okay, y'all, we'll see. But they're having a conclave today too. The conclave for the Pope. It's the Black Smoke. The new Pope has not been selected yet. But hold on, I need to go get some gas. I'm about to run out. The conclave convened today with the cardinals and the Pope. They're in the process now of choosing Pope Francis's replacement. And I told y'all that you ain't even got to follow. I mean, a lot of people talking about, well, that Malachi prophecy of the popes is not biblical. It don't have to be biblical because if you read the Bible and you know what you're talking about, you can understand it. There were prophets and seers in the Bible who were not saved and who were not of Christ. Balaam is one of them who used to prophesy. There were seers that would predict and prophesy things. So yes, Saint Malachi, he may have been a Catholic priest or whatever, but that doesn't mean his prophecy was incorrect. A broken clock is right twice a day. So yes, that prophecy of the Pope has predicted that Pope Francis's replacement will be named Peter the Roman, and he will be the 113th Pope and will also be the false prophet Pope, or the religious figure that is more likely going to be the false prophet through the tribulation that's going to lead the Catholic Church into judgment. That prophecy of those 112 popes aligns right in alignment with the biblical prophecies of the tribulations that's about to take place soon. So yes, it may not be biblical. Malachi's prophecy may not be biblical, but it aligns right in the time that we're in because it's lead right up to the tribulation. So whoever Pope Francis's replacement is, it is going to be more than likely a person or a pope named Peter the Roman, as predicted by Malachi. And that is going to be the end time pope and probably the end time false prophet that is going to lead the church and align themselves with the Antichrist through the tribulation period. So the Pope prophecy is in alignment with the mystery Babylon destruction that's in Revelations. So just because it is not biblical does not mean that it is not an accurate prophecy. It, in my opinion, it's not adding to or taking away from the book of Revelations. As a matter of fact, it's further confirming the book of Revelations, because the book of Revelations describes Mystery Babylon and its destruction in a way that when that new pope takes place and then the great tribulation happens, which I believe is going to happen soon, it's going to fall right into alignment with the judgment of the Catholic Church and the destruction of Vatican City, which is also who I believe is Mystery Babylon. So we will see. But they'll probably have a pope selected and elected, they said Friday. And there are two or three popes in the running whose names are Peter. Peter, okay? So we're going to see. The end of this week, they should have a pope elected. And his name, we're going to see if it's Peter. And if his name is Peter, that further confirms that prophecy. For all you Bible thumpers that think y'all know so much and whatever, you go back and you go look at go find a little YouTube story about that the prophecy of the popes, and see what it says about Peter the Roman being the last and final prophet or last and final pope before the destruction and the judgment of the Catholic Church. And then you go back and you read the Revelations, and it describes Mystery Babylon and how Vatican City and the Catholic Church and the Catholic leadership aligns with that prophecy. And you will see that they coincide with each other. So, whatever. There's a lot of y'all better be careful who y'all listen to, especially them Hebrew Israelites. Them idiots. Them Hebrew Israelites is going to lead a lot of people to hell. Trust me, but them false prophecies, them false doctrines, Catholicism, Hebrew Israelites, all them old weird religions. The Bible, book of Galatians said that anybody that preaches a different gospel other than what is preached in the Holy Bible is accursed. So y'all better watch who y'all follow, because these people are going to lead y'all straight to hell, preaching them false doctrines. So, all right, we're going to see. The new pope is going to be elected this week. Now, and you shouldn't be no no complications during the conclave. So that pope is going to be elected, and I'm thinking that it's going to be one of the Peters. There's even a black pope named Peter that's in the running. So we'll see, y'all. All right. So everybody's at this gas station. What is up with that? Is the price of gas about to go up or something? What? We're going to have supply chain issues, they said, in the next couple of weeks, too. There's going to be barren shelves, empty shelves in the stores and stuff due to the supply chain issues and the tariffs. So get ready for that, too. Brace yourselves for that. So, all right. I may be back today, Lord willing, God grant it. If not, then y'all have a blessed one. Peace.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Harvey Levin here.
Charles here.
Okay, here's what's going on with Diddy. So the court actually adjourned early today, and there are 45 prospective jurors. Now, what happens is the next step is that each side gets a certain number where they can just say, we don't want him. And you don't have to give a reason. You just, we don't want him. Each side gets to sort of knock people down for that. That's a really important thing because it requires strategy. Who do you want? What 12 jurors and 6 alternates do you want? And it takes some time.
And both sides will be working, actually, as we speak, have begun working on that.
It was supposed to happen today, but the defense said, look, we need some time. And the judge said, look, we will be dark tomorrow. We won't have
So Thursday,
court
there will
tomorrow.
be nothing going on in court.
On Friday, they're called preemptory challenges. On Friday, they will do that. They will select the jury. And then on Monday, the jury will be officially sworn in and the opening statements will begin.
Right. And the final jurors that they put in the pool today, interesting. It's always interesting to hear I'll say, the excuses that people put forward, hoping that they don't get selected. And then you always wait to see whether the judge goes, okay,
I'm buying
you're
it,
excused, or I'm not buying
it.
it. Some very interesting ones, including Star Wars. Star Wars came into play in the court today as one juror said he was just at home. He said he's not working and he's at home watching Star Wars. Actually, he said he's binging, and the judge said, "Binging? What do you mean? What do you mean you're binging?" He said, "Oh, I'm just binging. I'm watching Star Wars." And the judge said, "Okay, you're watching Star Wars. What?" I think the judge thought he meant the movie, and he said, "No, Andor." And then he admitted, he's like, "I'm not working right now. I'm really kind of lazy." I don't know if the judge. That doesn't sound like a good excuse. Do we know if the judge took that one? He kept him in. Yeah, I mean, you're asking to be put on the jury at that point.
I'm kind of lazy. I'll do.
I don't have a job, so it's not like.
I'll do a 4-week trial, but I don't think I can do an 8. It just gets boring.
Yeah, I mean, he was honest at least. There was another prospective juror who admitted it came up, and clearly the attorneys the defense had seen this on his social media. That he had retweeted something related to Diddy. So the judge asked him about it. And he said, do you remember doing this? And he said, no. And he said, no, I don't, because I was doom scrolling. And then the judge said, the hell's doom scrolling? What's doom scrolling? And he said, I was just jumping around on the internet. So the judge is learning some things here about social media.
Well, the judge also, I think this is actually really interesting. So this judge, I was a little surprised at this. I have a feeling he's connecting more with the young people in the jury. This is the judge. Backpack,
Judge Samaria.
Earphones, headphones, and
I'd only seen pictures of
tennis
him.
shoes.
I'd only seen pictures of him on the bench with his robe on, and he's just, I don't know, just seemed older.
But now that you look, it's like he's 45 years old, and the reality is, there are a lot of judges who are in their 40s who are on the federal bench.
He just looks like any other commuter.
He does. I mean, tennis shoes and backpacks and all.
Headset on.
This guy's a regular commuter who grew up in the 90s. He's exactly my age. He's probably very influenced by the music of the 90s, which was suffused with Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records. So undoubtedly, he knows a lot about the defendant in this case, and he's going to bring in some of his own sort of experiences to the trial. I mean, I'm sure he'll be very professional, but that's got to be in the back of his mind. He knows Puff Daddy.
Now, I'm going to get a little personal here, that I have a podcast, and one of the things that happened in court is we now have a new listener.
We do.
That judge.
Yes. Judge Subramanian said that he will be watching and listening to the Two Angry Men podcast.
But not necessarily because he's a fan.
No, he's watching and listening because of something that your co-host, Mark Garagos, said on the last week's episode
of Two Angry Men,
where he referred to the prosecutors, the 6 female prosecutors, as a 6-pack of white women.
That did not sit well. But the prosecution actually sent a letter to the judge and fired it off and said, Garagos is associated with this case. He's been consulting, and how dare he say something like this? And the judge agreed.
Yeah, the judge said, you cannot cross the line like this. And that's when he said, I will be watching. I believe Mark said something like, thanks as long as you subscribe.
The word was kind of wrong, Mark.
Right.
But the judge was essentially, the judge was threatening him with contempt, that if he made a personal comment like that, which the judge said crossed the line, I think the judge was saying prosecution will probably ask for make a contempt motion, and the judge might agree to actually cite Mark.
Just to be clear, the judge was not promoting your podcast.
Well, at least
not
intentionally.
Not intentionally. but thanks.
Yeah, look, there's an element of this that is very entertaining. It is your podcast, and you speak openly about this case, and so does Mark Garagos. But being called to the principal's office in the middle of a trial and being told, like, I'm going to be listening, it's not exactly an endorsement of the podcast. It's going to make Mark probably a little nervous to be talking on the podcast.
Well, that's what I want to see. We haven't done
Now
it this week yet. I can't wait to hear what he does this week. Believe me, I have no idea, no control over that.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of you talking this week.
Let me tell you something. I've known this guy for decades.
He's going to push it.
It ain't going to be just me talking.
He's going to push it.
Promise you.
Hi, Nikki NYC. In my personal opinion, I think when it comes down to the all-female prosecution team, I think it's a plus and a negative at the same time. For one, when it comes down to feminism, I feel like if they can successfully prosecute and win this case, it's going to be a plus for them. However, with the predominantly jury that's like all male, predominantly male, I think it's going to actually backfire with the intentions of men nowadays. And this is just my opinion, where men are just like, okay, we want to be the head of households. We want to be the decision makers. I feel like if there's a predominantly male jury pool, it's going to make it a little bit difficult for them to actually prosecute. This is just my opinion.
Well, it's interesting because we'll see what the composition is, and we should know Friday.
We will. Remember, all the people that we've talked about so far are just in the pool. They are not the actual jurors.
I do want to mention one other quick thing. They can't find witness number 3 still. This is apparently an ex-girlfriend of Diddy's who was one of the alleged victims. And prosecution can't find her.
Right. Her attorney is trying to find her, and her attorney has said that she may not be willing to come and testify anyway. So we'll
be
see.
interesting. Okay, we're moving on.
Your Honor, Rodney Hinton.
Thank you.
It was tense as Rodney Hinton's family sat in a sea of law enforcement officers who showed up for his bond hearing. As Hinton approached the podium, his brother comes up on the other side, tapping the glass to get his attention.
Got to have a seat. Got to have a seat.
The man refuses to listen. An officer tugs on his shirt to get him to sit down, resulting in chaos inside the gallery and spilling outside into the hall.
I just want my brother to see me. Take a breather.
Deputies escorted Hinton out for 2 minutes. Once things settled down, he returned to face the judge.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning.
The prosecution called its witness, a Cincinnati police detective who laid out the tragic turn of events on May 2nd. Officer Carl Beebe says Hinton and his family met Chief Teresa Thigi at 9:30 Friday morning to review body camera footage of his son, Ryan Hinton's shooting death at the hands of one of her officers the day before. By 10:30, Hinton abruptly left the meeting distraught and so upset family members were concerned about his ability to drive.
When he left, he actually left with family members.
Beebe says Hinton returns at 12:40 that afternoon to pick up his car and leaves. At 12:49, he returns to 801 Lynn Street and circles the parking lot before allegedly heading toward UC. Roughly 10 minutes later, Hinton ran over Deputy Larry Henderson, who was directing traffic for UC's graduation. Detectives say based on video footage and witness accounts, it appeared intentional.
Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
The prosecution believes Hinton attacked Deputy Henderson because he was the first officer Hinton saw. His defense attorney, Clyde Bennett, argued he was not in the right state of mind.
I'm not saying that my client didn't try to intend to do this. That's not my position. I want to make certain that this young man is treated as a mentally ill person and not as a cop killer. I don't think he was a cop killer. I think he was not in his right mind.
The prosecution argued Hinton is a risk to law enforcement and the public. The judge agreed, saying he'd never seen a case like this, denying Hinton bond.
Hey there, thanks so much for visiting the Local 12 YouTube channel. Click the links, hit subscribe to get notified anytime we post content to this channel.
Phone calls that Pope Francis insisted on making right up until the previous weekend.
From the hospital, when he was in the hospital, when he could, he would call Padre Romanelli and just ask them what they'd had for dinner.
Or smoke. We have smoke.
We do have smoke coming out of that chimney, but it's definitely black.
Definitely black smoke. It's 21 hours. It's 9 o'clock in the evening here in Rome. And that is,
They took their time with
They
it.
took their time. They had a good think. They listened to a meditation by the papal preacher, which probably took time as well. Definitely black smoke there, I would say.
And I wonder what the reaction is to in the square below, to the crowds who are seeing that and knowing that there has been no decision, no successful outcome on this occasion. Now we have a shot of the square. I can see some cell phones flashing away there. Whether they'll be able to capture that black smoke billowing in the wind there out of the chimney and away across the rooftop of the Sistine Chapel and the rest of the Vatican museums, I'm not sure, but that's certainly black smoke.
I wonder if we have some sound from the square there. Do we have squares? No, we don't. They tell us we don't. But we can see. Here we are.
Well,
The
they've
noise of
made
the
sure
crowd.
of it at least. That's good. They've
wow.
got a good bit of it. Yes, a good crowd in the square.
And you can see, of course, those giant screens set up so that even if you can't actually see from where you're standing,
Which it looks difficult to see from
It
now.
does.
it does,
It
doesn't
does.
it? Yeah. And in fact, I remember that from past
And as you were
years.
saying, it's
At
dark.
nighttime, yes,
Yes.
it becomes difficult.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that is again. I never failed to be moved by the sight of our most beautiful city, the Bernini Colonnade, St. Peter's illuminated, that night sky. It could have rained today, but it didn't, which was also
It
a
looks
blessing
like we
for
may
many.
have good weather for the rest of the week. So
There you are.
And you can see if you're watching on the television screen, it is now completely dark in Rome. The lights are on, the new illumination of the dome of St. Peter's. And the crowd, I think, is very relieved to see smoke, and very definite black smoke. I think there was no question from the very beginning.
But I want to say thanks to Joseph Tulloch for joining us there. He disappeared out of the studio.
And thanks again to Joseph for relaying his experiences. And thanks to our team in studio.
I can see people making their way
people
fairly
are moving
swiftly out of the square. Definitely past dinner time here in Rome. But
and I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to find a restaurant anywhere near St. Peter's this evening.
But do keep following us here on Vatican Media, Vatican News.
we'll start tomorrow again at
We will
10:30.
start.
Is that right? Rome time?
You are a guest tomorrow morning
think I
again,
am, yes.
and with Christopher Wells here in studio. So yes, 10:30 Rome time tomorrow morning for another marathon
And
commentary.
we'll have Devin as well tomorrow in the anchor spot.
Yes.
He joined us with some great contributions from the square. So thanks to Devin.
Yes,
and
thanks
especially to our guests, Philippa Hitchin and Don Prudlow, for providing so much information and insight and your memories and reflections.
All right, so we do want to thank the Vatican News team for their continual coverage as black smoke has now appeared from the chimney on top of the Sistine Chapel, indicating that no decision has been made yet about the Pope. To speak more on this